been 50 years since we've had rail service in the city of Detroit. It's being done in partnership with the U.S. Department of Transportation and One Rail, which is a group of private business owners and civic leaders. And so what we're like rail? They're electric power trains. They're not run by gas or diesel. We'll be running on tracks built on street level. So it's driven like a bus. There is a driver, on the trains. It's not like the people mover was automatic. So it's a driver, driving a train down the middle of the street. So there will be, someone in control of the train. Rail is faster and can carry more people than buses. And it's much cheaper to build than subway. Fossil fuels, they're run by electricity, so it's very much clean energy.
Hi, my name is Frank Cameron. I'm a retired UAW member and live in Green Acres. My residence and my workplace goes to my two questions. You said in the presentation that the transit would go to 8 Mile, but I know that the books say it goes to State Fair, and I want to get a clarification of that because we're pretty strongly convinced that it ought to go to 8 Mile as part of a further going on toward Pontiac. The question related to my occupation is, I heard you say that the construction of the trains would also be generating jobs. And
no, light rail construction.
Pardon me?
Light rail construction.
Yeah, but what I mean to say is, I'm not talking about the rail, I'm not talking about the pavement, I'm talking about the cars.
Well, they have not bid out that work, so
you're going to my question, and here, for this to have the kind of economic impact that we need in this region, we need to reopen closed auto plants to build the rail cars here, okay? And especially if we're going beyond 8 Mile and making this a regional transit system, we ought to do it right and have the construction of the rail cars here by auto workers who have lost their jobs, who are technically capable of doing it, and we have the resources in the closed plants to do it.
This system, has there been study to find out if there's another system that could also work down Woodward?
They have, and that's how they came up with the draft environmental impact study. Looked at underground, they looked at on-surface street. They actually, for how many years, CC? They studied this for 2 years, and they looked at other cities and what worked light rail was the cheapest way for us to go. It costs much more to do elevated and to do subway.
Does this system have to be subsidized?
When you say subsidized, what are you?
At the end of the year. At the end of the year, does it have to be subsidized?
Well, we just talked about operation costs. Are you talking about construction or operation?
I mean, do I have any money coming out of my pocket at the end of the year? The taxpayers have money coming
well,
out.
as the federal government, which is
out of my pocket.
Right. The federal government is is funding 3/4 of this project.
So
I'm Richard Rubens.
Where are you from?
I'm from Detroit. I live in Detroit. I work in Detroit. I'm busy restoring the Ford Piquette Avenue plant, National Historic Landmark. Piquette and Beaubien in Detroit, just off Woodward Avenue.
Okay. Why did you come to the meeting tonight?
Come to the meeting tonight because I've been working on light rail since 1982 to try and get it into Detroit.
Interesting.
Our workers in the central city who don't own cars can't get to jobs. Our businesses need the support of light rail in order to develop their businesses. Our residents need a way to transport throughout the city.
Interesting. Okay, what do you know about the light rail project?
Actually, I know quite a bit about it. I've been working on it for 30 years. It's a good project. Light rail in a city of 4 million people, which Detroit has surpassed a population of 4 million people in the total southeastern Michigan area. You need light rail to support transportation. Like all transportation, it's subsidized. So is highways, so are automobiles, so are airports, so are railroads. All transportation is subsidized. It's just a matter of what's the most efficient way to use the transportation. The Woodward Corridor is a high-volume traffic area, and light rail provides the best option for that.
Okay. So you think the light rail is a better idea than the buses?
Absolutely. Light rail is a fixed asset, and as such, business and residents know that that stop that they're building around is going to be there, and that people are going to congregate at that stop. So the investment that comes out of a light rail investment multiplies the investment in light rail. You get jobs, you get transportation, you get housing, you get businesses, you get employees coming into the area, so that instead of just serving that community that is resident in that location, you're getting a lot of people from all over who are spending their dollars in that area around the transit.
So you're saying it's a better way for us to live environmental friendly, where no...
Oh, absolutely. It's far less polluting than automobiles running up and down the highway and building out a lot of concrete roads.
Okay.
It will not replace the automobile, but what it can do is, for directed transportation, give you an efficient, effective way to get your people to where they need to be.
Okay. What do you think needs to happen with the public transportation?
We need to build it. Detroit in 1886 started to build one of the best transportation systems in the world. I'm old enough to know a day when, as a kid, 6, 7 years old, I could get on a streetcar and go to Flint. I mean, and that's true.
Okay.
It's an effective way to transport a lot of people very efficiently.
So do you think there's going to be a safe way for people to use the light rail?
If we build it that way, if we demand that it be a safe, clean, effective system.
Okay.
If Detroit is going to grow, we've got to develop a transit system that makes sense.
Okay. Thank you. Start off with your name and where you from.
Oh, that's right. My name is Calmita Strand.
Did you come to the meeting tonight?
I came to the meeting, voice my opinion of knowing that this historical church cannot be disturbed, and that the people who live in the corridor will be treated with respect.
So, do you think the light rail is a safe way than bus transportation, or do you think it's like more noisier? Would it be?
I will be enjoying the light rail.
Okay. Okay. What do you know about the light rail project?
Well, from people going to meetings and talking about it, and from other cities that we have gone and ride their light rail. Mm-hmm. I know it's a good thing for the city and for the area in southeastern Michigan, and I'm looking forward for it to make a lot of economic recovery for the city.
So you think this would be a better way of transportation,
Yes.
going to and from churches or business or work?
Yes, I think it will be, especially for low-income people who cannot afford to buy cars and pay car insurance.
Okay. Last question. What do you think needs to happen with public transportation?
I think the federal government, the state of Michigan, the city of Detroit I think they owe the people public transportation. Gasoline has gone to the highest peak, and therefore people need transportation to get back and forth to work.
If you could say your name and where you're from.
Name is Corey McCord. I represent the Central Woodward North End Collaborative.
All right. Why have you come to this meeting tonight?
I came to this meeting in part because I wanted to see the community response and the community organizer, and I helped mobilize to get the community here. And also I just wanted to make sure that I understood what the whole Woodward Rail was about. I didn't really understand why, instead of investing money into the current bus system, they were having the light rail. So I wanted to make sure that I wanted to know what was the difference between the funding sources between DDOT and this light rail. And I learned that they are totally separate, for one. And then I just wanted to make sure that the community, if they didn't voice the concern about jobs, that I would actually voice that concern myself, because many of the jobs that are created through this light rail process, I want to see them go to Detroiters, not to outsiders, not to people in Michigan, but the people in Detroit specifically, and Michigan.
So what do you know about the light rail project?
I know that it will be constructed completely by 2016, and that environmental impact statement is required before anything gets going on the project, which is a very thing to make sure the environmental impact, the negative environmental impact, is lessened as much as possible, which I wholeheartedly support.
What do you think needs to happen with the public transportation system?
Public transportation system needs to be looked after. It needs to be cared for. People, like the entire Detroit, needs to take more care put more care into the system. One of the biggest things that I did not really understand, I came home from college from Illinois to Detroit this year in May, and I saw the big Rosa Parks Transit Center, and I didn't understand why all the money was put into this big transit center, and the buses still did not run on time. There were still not as much bus services, like buses were not like running online. So if it was like 2 buses that should have been on the bus line, there was only 1 running, and sometimes you would wait for like an hour on the bus. I'm a lifelong bus rider, and it was just disheartening to see all this development go into this big, beautiful, unnecessary architectural piece, and this transit center that does not have any businesses or anything. It just houses people, but it did not go into improving the quality of bus service. So just making sure that the public transportation system is actually benefiting the citizens that it's supposed to serve is something that needs to happen.
All right. Thank you for your feedback.